I like to believe that Freddie Mercury and Vanilla Ice once had a long and angry conversation about copyright infringement and sampling another artist's music without his permission. And at the end of that conversation, Freddie Mercury grew frustrated and he said, "Vanilla Ice, I'm not just finished with this conversation. I'm done, 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 done." Sorry, that joke's really stupid. Don't worry, the rest of my material is a lot like being gay in high school. It gets better. I kind of wonder about where, like, saying holla as a greeting came from. I like to believe it's, like, some guy that just really sucked at speaking Spanish. Someone was like, hola. He was like, it's pronounced holla. Like, Steve, you sound like an asshole. It's pronounced azul, and calling someone blue is not an insult, idiot. You know who I really hate? Those people that are, like, objectively better than me in every single way, but they're too damn nice about it for me to hate them properly for it. It's like, come on, dude, you're making six figures curing cancer for orphans in Africa. The least you could do is be a dick about it. Learn something from Bono. But of course they're not, so I'm stuck just staring at Netflix in the dark alone on a Saturday afternoon, just being like, fucker's changing the world. What a jerk. But I am trying to change. I hit the gym recently for the first time in 6 months. It was a huge wake-up call that I need to stop drinking and driving. That is an inanimate object the size of a building. Insurance is not going to cover that. I gave blood recently with the Red Cross. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you give with the Red Cross, then they will call you as soon as you're eligible to give again. Which would be nice if they didn't do it twice a day, every day, until you finally give with them again. I got this really prying woman that kept calling me. She go, "Hi, Mr. Pete, you're eligible to give blood again. I'd like to let you know that we have a blood drive going on this Saturday. I'm going to mention blood more times than any vampire movie has ever mentioned blood before." She was annoyingly chipper, and like I tried to make excuses to be like, "Oh, I'm busy Saturday." She'd go, "Oh, what are you busy doing on Saturday?" And just be like, "I didn't think this through." So I'd be honest, and I'd be like, watching Netflix alone, might take a nap, cry deeply about my status in life, not necessarily in that order. But finally, I just got fed up with it. So she calls me one day, "Mr. Pete, you're eligible to give blood again." I said, "Oh no, I'm actually not. I'm ineligible now." And said, "Oh, why?" And I said, "I got a tattoo." She goes, "Oh, what did you get a tattoo of?" And here I panicked because despite all of the evidence I had to this, I hadn't actually thought this lie all the way through. But I was just like, screw it, I'm committed now. So I was like, "A rainbow." She goes, "Oh, why'd you get a tattoo of a rainbow?" I'm like, "I'm committed. Let's go." I'm like, well, it's a funny story, but while I was overseas for a time totaling 6 or more months between 1980 and present in China, Pakistan, Iran, or the UK, and I had a blood transfusion, I met a gay man from Africa who I exchanged sex with for the good or service of getting a tattoo, even once, and also I am pregnant or may become pregnant. I'm not really positive if that last one disqualifies me from giving blood. It might just be one of the things that I should ask my doctor about for an Ambien prescription. But the fact of the matter is, she stopped calling me for a full year, so score. Let's see. I'm trying to improve myself by avoiding the gaze of that guy in the back over there. Yeah, him, the creepy looking dude. Yeah, the homosexual, that one. I recently became a vegetarian, about a year now. I've noticed that whenever I tell people I'm a vegetarian, like their first response is to make fun of me. Like the really common one is to be like, "Oh, vegetarian, that's an old Indian joke. It means bad hunter." I'm like, wow, way to go for the low-hanging fruit, guy. Seriously, please leave the low-hanging fruit for the vegetarians. We are far too malnourished to reach anything higher up on the tree. This diet is awful. But like, just a note on that joke. You're calling me a bad hunter. Dude, you live in the city. You've never hunted a thing in your life. Unless we're going to count bargain hunting. And in that case, I'd like to point out that dried pinto beans are 78 cents a pound. Fresh chicken breasts are 3.72 a pound. Now who's the better hunter, bitch? I've never been all that popular though, so it's not really that big of a transition. I mean, when I went to high school, it was like super clicky. Like everyone had their groups. Like I was in the bottom totem with like the nerds and the losers, and then there was a level up from us. There were like the normal kids, and then you start getting into the cool kids. You had like the G's. They were gangsters. And then you had the OGs, the original gangsters, and I assumed that at the top of that particular social ladder was the OBGYN. They probably all hung out at their own special place just for gangsters. A G-spot, if you will. If anyone messed with me, be like, "Man, I'm an OBGYN. That stands for Original Badass Gangster, you fellas. I would end that joke differently, but I'd like to survive. Alright, that is all the time I have for stupid dick jokes and stuff. Thank you.